So after the resignation of Armed Force Minister Al Khans,
Hmm.
Parliamentary Assistant Pamela Nash, and John Healey, the now ex-Minister of Defence. They resigned, by the way, because the British government wouldn't or couldn't rustle up enough money to keep the armed forces above water. It was published in the Defence Journal a couple of days ago. It confirmed what I was saying for some time now, that there are no nuclear attack submarines at sea. All five of them are either in for repairs, refurbishment, or otherwise unavailable. A sixth sub, HMS Agamemnon, was commissioned sometime last year, but it is still undergoing sea trials and so is not fit for full duty as yet.
All right.
And there is a seventh, but it's
Okay.
still being built. Still being built.
Okay.
Two of the subs are in dry dock at Faslane. Now, we did a podcast about Faslane some time ago about how the place was run down and leaking nuclear waste into the water. And two more are at Devonport, at Plymouth. The fifth sub, HMS Anson, has just finished the deployment, so is back at port undergoing routine procedures. So, as of today, there are no submarines, British
Right.
submarines, doing any jobs.
Right. Okay.
According to the report published in the Defence Journal, the problem isn't necessarily with the subs themselves, but the inadequacies found on dry land to maintain them. Devonport isn't big enough to cope with the demand, and failure to find spare parts or even qualified staff to fit them are in short supply. One of the subs is being dismantled to supply the spare parts for the others. It's a bit like a scrapyard.
I think that's an older trick than we actually know about. But yes. Yeah.
Well, it's what
Yeah.
we do in the third. It's what they do in the third world.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
And of course, the domino effect comes into play as there are no submarines out there. There's no way how to train the already dwindling number of men to sail the things. Do you sail a submarine? I'm not sure.
Well, I think it's still classed as a ship, so yeah, you'd sail a ship. So I imagine
Yeah.
so.
Anyway, the Telegraph reported that some ex-naval officers said that Britain is becoming to look toothless when compared to Russia. You know, the bogeyman of Eastern Europe. Yeah. The situation looks so bad, even for an outsider to see, that in February, the Times dug a little and found that in 2018, £500 million was destined for the submarines, but they didn't reach their destination, the £500 million. So work on the subs is almost ground to a halt. Retired Rear Admiral Philip Matthias said, "This is an unprecedented situation in the nuclear submarine age. It's a catastrophic failure of succession and leadership planning." And the rest, of course, the rest of the Navy top brass is keeping mum.
Well, yeah,
They're not saying anything.
well, yeah, they wouldn't do, but yeah.
And recently, the cancelling of warships being built to make way for drone production, probably to give to Ukraine. I think Starmer promised him it was 160,000 or 260,000 drones by the end of the next 2 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Remember the little head-to-head they had in number 10 Downing Street a couple of days
Yeah.
ago?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, he promised him lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of drones.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
But
Whether,
anyway,
whether or not they'll drop down the chimney at Christmas or not, it remains to be seen.
but the latest word on the street is that Keir Starmer is wanting to become Secretary General of NATO should Mark Rutte step down at the end of his term. Yep, Britain, hardly keeping its military together, delinquent with its obligations with NATO, as Donald Trump would put it, Starmer has it in his head that he's the guy to lead NATO with its with his ability to turn everything he touches into salt. And it wouldn't surprise me the way politics are going. He might just make it.
Well, yes. He is a well. I'm not going to focus on Starmer necessarily here. To me, the guy is deadwood. He's floating about in the whatever he's doing, and nobody can take him seriously at the moment because he's 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 the outgoing captain, as it were, if you pardon the pun. But yes. Now defense spending.
Crafting, more like
Yeah.
a crafting.
Well, I look. He's less. He's just. Well, the trouble is, he is and still isn't yesterday's news. But you understand when I say he's yesterday's news, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. But the now, where as regard defence spending, I mean, I can't think of a time in recent history when anyone applauded any administration for the way they were spending money. And remembering,
He,
go,
this
go,
this this
yeah,
morning,
yeah.
he and Rachel Reeves, between them, they declared they were going to send the military £14 billion, which is half as much as what they really need. They need £28 billion
Oh,
just to put the military up to scratch.
well, depends.
And
Yeah.
him and Rachel Reeves were high-fiving each other, thinking they did something great,
Well,
trying to sell the I don't know what you call it,
yeah. Well, I saw them give each other a
the
hug,
sheep
and
in wolf's clothing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, sheep wolf. Yeah. I mean, um, yeah, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking
I,
about the sheep in wolf's
wolf
clothing.
clothing. Yes, I know what you're
Yeah.
saying.
You
Yes.
think it's one thing, and it's just
Yeah.
not all that.
I saw them hug each other very affectionately, and that sort of sent a shiver up my spine. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's like a horror film that was, what would the offspring look like? Yeah. Anyway, moving on to right. Defense spending always going to be a problem. I mean, we've there's people that, yeah. I mean, yeah, we are in a probably, leading up to World War Two, leading up to World War One, actually. Yeah, leading up to World War Two, the country's defences were in disarray, really. Um, Given that it was effectively the end of the empire. I know people say the British Empire ended in the 1950s, but it was militarily it was in decline then, and along came World War Two and all panic and everything else. Lend lease from the US to, and we had some old ships from the US, or some ships from the US. My great uncle died on one of them. Um, and then we have um, we have, how can I put it, the Falklands War, when nothing was prepared for the Falklands War. And I'm laughing when you were talking about using old parts for the Vulcan bomber raid before the war started, when they went and bombed Port Stanley airfield, just to show they could. And it only got announced how they managed it quite recently with the refueling and everything. I'll say quite recently, probably 10 years ago. That's they found an old part that was being used as an ashtray in the mess room. Yeah. So just oh, yeah, that would do. So yeah, when you're talking about, yes, squirreling around for old parts. I mean, I worked in a nationalized industry and we did that as well. We used to,
It's very third
cannibalize
world,
old things. Yeah.
very
Um,
very very poor.
yeah, but I'm afraid that's what it is. It I'm going to also I'm going to put something in defense of possibly the government defending their defense.
Yeah.
Um, it's very difficult to predict at the moment, probably more so than any time in the past, um, what the future of warfare will look like. What exactly we have? Are we going to have more autonomous weapons? Um, when I saw that it's scrapping the ships, I
The
thought,
seven destroyers that is
yeah,
cancelled, and is going to put five. Is going to put five smaller, cheaper ships in their place,
Yeah,
so they can carry drones.
yeah,
But
which is
I mean that makes them a sitting duck. Drones are okay if you are near to where your target is,
yeah. I mean,
right?
it
I
depends what
can't I
their
can't
range are.
imagine I can't imagine drones being sent from the UK all the way across the top of Europe, all the way to Russia to bomb Russia.
I don't know. I
You
mean,
know, drones are okay from Ukraine because
yeah,
they're the next door neighbor, and
yeah.
you've got like 20 minutes to sort of send your drones across,
Well,
or
yeah,
or,
that
or, or
that's almost like the V1, the V2, the V1s that just used to fly in like that. Yeah, across the channel. Yeah, it is a. It depends on the range of them and how controlled. I mean, they can control things from anywhere in the world with satellite tech and everything else if they
I
like.
wouldn't I wouldn't even say the range, sir. I would say that the time it takes them to reach their target. If you're a long way away and they can only fly at, I don't
Depend
know, 60,
depend
70
depend
miles an
de-
hour.
depends what your strategy is and what you're hitting, I suppose. Really, I mean, we're not strategy. I mean, we're sitting in our armchair. I mean, there might be cases where it's good to have a short range from the neighbourhood, as it were, and then longer range things. Yeah, y- it depends on what the mission is, I suppose, and what they're hitting and how they plan to hit it, and lots of other things as well, factors. I mean, yeah, maybe that's it. Both sides are now hitting each other with drones, and it really hitting civilian areas, if the truth be known, and some military, disabling each other's military and infrastructure capabilities as the objective. Um, and to forget international law and Geneva Convention. When this does start hitting, I mean, I think these mini unmanned drones are as bad as landmines personally against people, but um, that's for international people to work out. Um, yeah, what do you spend money on? I mean, I agree. I mean, when you're saying to me, possibly within hours there could be a nuclear submarine launched again. One is only been given a quick tapping surface as it just finished a tour of duty or just finished a deployment, has come back. It looks like they're just giving it a bit of a clean and a bit of dust and just having a bit of a routine maintenance check on it, by the
But
sounds of it.
it's not going to be in service for quite a while,
Well,
simply because of the backlog
yeah,
on the at Devonport.
yeah. Well, I mean, if they run down to that degree, um, I mean, what surprises me is how freely this information about how bad things really are is available. I've never heard the like. I mean, um,
Well, the Defence Journal is a
yeah,
military journal,
yeah. Well, they're putting out something that that we want more money. The military will always ask for more money, like the health service does, and everyone does. Um,
but it was the Defence Journal that pointed out there are no nuclear subs
yeah,
at sea.
yeah. Kind of saying to the Argentinians, now's your opportunity to go to the Falkland Islands, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I should imagine.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, when you get on there, it will be very difficult to land. Yeah. I mean, that is a fortress. I know people that've been on there.
HMS Queen Elizabeth is in dock.
Yeah. Okay. No aircraft capabilities. Um,
It's in dock. It's not very. It's not. It isn't very. I mean, you can't blame. You can't just blame this administration
no,
now
no, I was
because
going to
it's
say,
been an
yeah,
ongoing process
yeah.
over the last 15, 20 years of neglect. However, what you can do
Mm.
is blame them for not seeing this sooner and doing something about it.
Well, I don't remember members of the opposition when Labour's opposition questioning about the Ministry of Defence. I don't remember any questions, or there may have been. I mean, yeah, we don't read Hansard
Well, I mean,
inside every day, but yeah,
the Conservatives wouldn't because
yeah, yeah.
they were in power
That's what I
for a
mean.
good
But that,
10,
yeah,
12 years, so they're
La
going to keep quiet about
yeah,
it.
Labour weren't going to be pushing it either because they had the administration before. I mean, yes, it's a joint effort of where we got to where we've got to today. When I say joint effort, you understand I'm being cynical,
Yeah, of course.
sarcastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Now, how do I mean, yes, but trying to understand and predict the future of warfare. I mean, there's a lot that's come out of the Ukraine war that are um, our perception of what was been a traditional war, probably even 15 years ago, is far different now. Tanks are virtually useless
Not
against
really
what
on the front lines. No, 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 no. I
they've
don't
taken
agree
out.
because on the front lines, if you there are there are two areas where you need to
Mm,
watch.
yeah,
Right, the drones going across, hitting, going deep
mm,
into Russia
mm,
is one thing. On the front lines in Donetsk is another, and the Russians are using the tanks and the soldiers and
yeah,
the small arm fire and the rocket launchers
yeah.
on the
Well,
front lines.
yeah,
That's where they are taking out villages
mm,
and strategic places. So tanks are always going to have they're going to have their place for combat.
yeah,
You're talking about the drones. I mean, that's sort of that's they're flying above
yeah. The line, yeah,
the zone of combat
yeah.
and doing
You
other
go to,
things.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that, to me, they're vicious weapons. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, okay, what are the rules of engagement? I mean, yeah. Do you mind not flying your drone onto me, sir? I'm having my cup of tea. Yeah, it's going to be. I do think that's it. That administration probably for 30 years have been fluffing around, wondering what the hell they got to spend money on if they had any money to spend. Um, um, and
So also to be fair, to be quite honest with you,
mm, mm,
the defense Ministry of Defence
mm,
doesn't help themselves when they're wasting money hand over fist on projects that started and they didn't finish,
yeah.
or they are doing a project which just isn't working, but they're still hitting the same key on the piano, insisting that it will when it won't.
Well, I would argue that auditors, government auditors, or whatever they are, should be questioning it all the time. And yeah, I mean, it's like all okay. We have to imagine the MOD is probably like some modern management of most companies now that try and hide the realities, um, and um, yeah, they're trying to bluff it in
Yeah,
effect,
well, you know,
and
they need to get somebody in who's
and
got
hide.
an
Yeah,
idea of how to manage it.
well, yeah, but unfortunately, they don't become politicians or probably even government auditors. I don't know. I mean, you put in KMPG if something in other industries goes wrong, you probably don't do that with the military. They probably say it's too specialist and need special clearance and all that before we let anyone go wandering around the place with a clipboard, um, as it were.
And the
Um,
UK, by the way, is also on the final draft
yeah,
of the Russian where to send nuclear bombs
yeah,
list
well, yeah, well, yeah,
because they had another in the Russian press.
yeah.
They had another. It wasn't Lavrov this time.
Mm,
It was somebody else, a little bit more aggressive than Lavrov, a little bit blunter,
yeah.
who's saying, look, if NATO continues going down the street they're going down, supplying Ukraine with more drones, and that they're going to have to start going after the source of the drones.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. No, I don't know, sabotage the factories somehow, maybe. But it is a um, probably find that they got probably find they got Chinese components in them, and they'll just stop the Chinese supplying them. I don't know. It is a um, it's a conundrum. Now I'm going to raise something else I've just thought of. Remembering for years, um, there was a complacency across Europe that we'll put together this European army. Also, we'll always still have the Americans there to help us or support us or do the fighting for us, whatever way angle you want to put on it. So yeah, there was a complacency, which meant, oh, we don't have to spend so much because we got the Americans subsidizing us.
Yeah, that's when Trump pulled them up.
Yeah, and he warned. I mean, he warned in the last administration, and yeah, somehow the leaders across Europe are a bit annoyed at the American Democrat Party because they let Trump win. Um, yeah, quite frankly. Um, whether or not you like Trump or not, that's the realities of it. And yeah, he's running the US as he sees fit. He's not running Europe. In fact, by doing what he's done, yeah, I'll let you Europeans sort out your own affairs. Nothing to do with me. You always criticize me whenever I get involved.
That's right.
It's on you now. Yeah.
Right.